Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Always good to be back.
This time, we're taking a look at last week's match.
Oh, yeah. West Ham Man U.
It was a good one.
Definitely one for the books, eh?
I mean, that penalty at the end.
Oh, man, don't even get me started.
That's what we're here to talk about.
All right, let's dive in.
Okay, so first half, Man U really were all over West Ham.
Oh, yeah. Completely dominant.
It felt like they could score anytime they wanted.
They had so many chances. I mean, their XG was through the roof.
For those who don't know XG, that's expected goals. It basically tells you how many goals a team should have scored based on the quality of their chances.
Exactly. And Man U's XG was way higher than West Ham's. It's just they couldn't finish.
Jarrod's miss was the worst. I mean, he had an open goal.
Awful miss. I bet that really messed with their heads.
Yeah, you could see them getting frustrated.
Yeah.
As the half went on, they just seemed to lose their composure.
And West Ham capitalized on that. They came out in the second half with a completely different energy.
It's like they flipped a switch. Suddenly, they were the ones creating chances.
Lopetegui's substitutions made a big difference. He brought on fresh legs, and they really upped the tempo.
Somerville's goal was a beauty.
Great finish. And even before that, you could sense that West Ham were going to score.
They had that belief that Man U seemed to have lost.
Momentum's a powerful thing in football.
And then, of course, came the penalty.
Oh boy, that was a tough one.
De Ligt and Ings tangled in the box. And the ref initially didn't call anything.
But then VAR intervened.
And after what felt like an eternity, the ref pointed to the spot.
I know, it didn't seem like a clear and obvious error to me.
Ten Hag was furious. He was arguing that the contact was minimal and that VAR shouldn't have gotten involved.
He's got a point. I mean, that's what VAR is supposed to be, for clear and obvious errors, not judgment calls.
And this one was definitely a judgment call.
Yeah.
De Ligt did get a touch on the ball, but he also caught Ings on the leg.
It's one of those where you can see both sides of the argument.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so frustrating. It wasn't a blatant penalty, but it wasn't a clear and obvious non-penalty either.
It just felt like VAR overstepped its boundaries.
And it ended up deciding the match.
A controversial ending to a really interesting game.
It definitely leaves a lot to discuss.
For sure. We'll be getting into the tactical side of things and Man U's finishing woes in just a bit.
But first, let's take a quick break.
Man U's finishing has been a problem all season.
It's baffling. They've got the talent, but they just can't seem to put the ball in the net.
8 goals in, 9 matches?
It's just not good enough for a team like that.
Their XG is way higher than their actual goals.
Right.
That tells you it's not just bad luck.
Right. It's a consistent problem.
Yeah, it seems like a mental block almost. Like they're overthinking it in front of goal.
Do you think it could be tactical too?
Maybe. They rely a lot on those quick counters.
And intricate passing moves in the final third.
Which can be effective, but maybe they're becoming predictable.
So maybe they need to mix it up a bit.
Be more direct at times. Try different types of attacks.
Like how West Ham changed their approach in the second half.
Exactly. They caught Man U off guard.
And Ten Hag didn't really react until it was too late.
He waited till the 70th minute to make any subs.
By then, West Ham had already equalized.
He could have been more proactive.
Lopetegui, on the other hand, he saw what was happening, and he made changes.
Bold changes too, and it paid off.
It shows the importance of being adaptable.
Having a plan B, being able to adjust to the situation.
And maybe that's something Ten Hag needs to work on.
He needs to find a way to unlock his team's attacking potential.
Because if they keep squandering chances, they're going to keep dropping points.
No matter how good they look on paper.
This loss puts them in a tough spot.
Especially with West Ham now ahead of them in the table.
The pressure's mounting on Ten Hag.
While Lopetegui gets a bit of breathing room.
It's funny how one decision, that penalty, can have such a ripple effect.
It changes the whole narrative of the match.
And it sparks these bigger debates.
Like the whole VAR controversy.
Which is something we definitely need to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's a can of worms.
Is VAR ruining the game?
Is it making it fairer?
It's hard to say.
I think it has its place.
But it needs to be used properly.
And right now it feels like it's not.
Too many inconsistencies.
Too much subjectivity.
That clear and obvious error criteria is so vague.
It leads to situations like this where nobody's really sure if it was the right call.
And it just creates more confusion and frustration.
For everyone involved, players, managers, fans.
We need to have a serious discussion about VAR.
About its purpose, its limitations, how it's implemented.
Because right now it's causing more problems than it's solving.
It's taking away from the flow of the game.
And it's undermining the authority of the referees.
It's supposed to be a tool to help them, not a replacement for their judgment.
But in this case, it felt like VAR overstepped its bounds.
And it decided the outcome of the match.
Which is a shame, because there was so much more to this game than just that one decision.
There were tactical battles, individual performances, moments of brilliance.
But all anybody's talking about is the penalty.
It's overshadowed everything else.
And it's left a lot of people feeling unsatisfied.
Like the game was somehow stolen from them.
Which is not what VAR was supposed to do.
It was supposed to make the game fairer.
More just.
But in this case, it feels like it's done the opposite.
It's created more controversy.
Poor Zhao.
And it's left us wondering if VAR is actually achieving its intended purpose.
Yeah, it's a shame that one decision can have such a big impact.
It really does make you think about the state of the game.
It's like, is VAR doing more harm than good?
That's the question everyone's asking.
And honestly, there's no easy answer.
I mean, on the one hand, it's supposed to eliminate those blatant errors.
The ones that used to decide games unfairly.
But on the other hand, it's creating all this controversy.
And it's slowing the game down.
All these lengthy reviews. It just kills the momentum.
And sometimes it still gets it wrong.
Like in this case, I'm not convinced that was a clear and obvious penalty.
Me neither. It felt like a judgment call.
And those should be left to the ref on the pitch.
Exactly. VAR shouldn't be re-refereeing every single incident.
It's supposed to be a safety net, not a microscope.
I think we need to go back to the drawing board with VAR.
Figure out how to use it more effectively.
Maybe clarify the guidelines, make them more objective.
So we don't end up with these subjective interpretations.
Because right now it feels like a lottery.
You never know what's going to happen.
One ref might see it one way, another ref might see it completely differently.
And that's not good for the integrity of the game.
It undermines the authority of the referees.
And it creates a sense of distrust among the fans.
Like the game is being manipulated.
Which is a shame. Because at its heart, football is a beautiful game.
It's about skill, passion, teamwork.
And those are the things we should be celebrating.
Not arguing about VAR decisions.
So yeah, we need to find a way to make VAR work.
For the good of the game.
Because right now it feels like it's doing more harm than good.
And that's not what anyone wants.
Well said. I think that's a good place to wrap things up.
Definitely lots to ponder.
As always, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Be sure to subscribe for more in-depth analysis and discussions.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating episode.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.